Motown, Motor City, Hitsville, a ghost town, the murder capital, the D. Everybody got a name to call it. For me, it's just Detroit, the place where I was born, the place where I'm living. Who am I? My name is Ade Mango Henderson Mainor. On wax, they call me Mr. Day. In the English language, a ghetto is a bunch of people that are the same, that live in the same place. After World War II, ghetto has meant a bunch of poor people together living in close proximity. And to that extent, even further, it doesn't even mean a bunch of people anymore. It means a bunch of black people living together in poor conditions with no hope for the future and no idea of how to get there. That's what the ghetto is. Looked like a goddamn bomb hit it. All this was families. Look, gone, 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 gone. Now tell me, where else can you see that? Now, when I say I live in the ghetto, I live among these people, my people, but I don't think a lot like most of them. And I don't have the ghetto mentality. And I've had more opportunity than a lot of them. And that's where the class thing comes in. I have no concept of starving, my parents coming home drunk. I don't know about any of these things because I didn't experience them. And this is a common occurrence in the ghetto. And when I was a kid, I used to want one of these buildings. I fantasized about having one of these buildings and having a studio with maybe a loft in one of them when I was a child, you know. People used to work here. People had, all this was jobs. Now, nothing. For sale, for lease. All this was the first Ford plant that went out. The first one that went out of business. And right here, 200,000 people used to work here. And now they don't have a job. And that's the beginning of the end.
Come on.
Okay, we're gonna go. All right, kid.
Okay, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Granny, a
Bye-bye.
kiss. You want to kiss Grandma?
Bye-bye. Here, take this
There
one.
she is.
I grew up with my family very close by. So it was kind of like growing up with a blanket over you all the time. We weren't rich, but my family's very hardworking family. So we survived and lived, and it was a lot of love in the house, and it kind of enabled me to pursue my dreams.
Come on, give me my kiss.
Right where his verse starts, that's what I want. Right there. So what we gotta do now is make song structure.
Now, this magazine came from Japan?
There he is.
Oh, that was in your mail?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it says something down here in Japanese.
Yeah.
He's explaining something.
Because he was into it. He was just going to town. At first I thought he was eating, but you could see he was talking about something he was into.
I got in the music business at a very young age. Well, not the business of it, more so just music, because it was always music in the house. My grandmother was always playing the piano. My mother's and my uncles would be singing. My father, when I was at my father's house, he would play soul music and jazz music in the background. So the earliest I remember, I liked it. And the minute that I could get up on the piano stool, I was playing music.
So every year, he would add something. From the time he was little, he would say, okay, Mama, I need a drum machine. I need a whatever. And the first time he went to the studio and had to hire somebody to do the mixing, and the engineer, he said, Mama, he said, I watched that man and he not doing that much. And I'm not going to pay him all that money to come up there. And he said, all I need is a book. So he called around and found out where a book was on that machine that the man was using, the engineer was using. And the next time they needed the engineer, he was the engineer.
I mean, I never really told this part of it. The engineers used to talk over my head because I was black. They figure I couldn't learn it. So they would tell me anything. If it was a paying customer, they wouldn't have told them about how to engineer. So they would talk over my head, and I actually had an aptitude at it. So I learned it. I learned how to engineer at a very young age. And by the time I was 16 years old, I was a sound engineer and an up-and-coming young record producer. So
He can make music. I still don't understand it. I don't see how somebody starts making music in their house and then go all over the world with it. It's still a mystery to me.
I never made our day go to work for me because he was kind of clumsy. He would stumble over his feet, and I was scared he would fall off a roof and break his neck. So I hope he made it in his music. So. All right today. No, you're going the wrong way.
You're going the wrong way?
Yeah, be too close to the edge. Put it right over here, right in this corner.
Okay.
Right in this corner. Right there. Okay.
Yeah. I grew up in a house seeing my grandfather call his own shots. So I knew that was an option. Have your own business. That's definitely an option. I never looked at it like I'm gonna be like grandpa and have my own business. I just knew that I didn't have to work if I didn't want to. But at the same time, my grandfather always instilled in me that I always had a home. So even if I failed, I had somewhere to go to, so I never had a fear of failing, which allowed me to follow my dreams.
Weather-wise out there, not too bad today. No rain in the forecast for the first time in a few days. Sunny skies throughout the afternoon, and temperatures expected to get into the mid-70s.
I went through a divorce with Sydney's mother. And during this time, I had been not sure about if I was gonna leave it done, you know, totally leave her mother. So I made this music. It's kind of mellow and a bit depressing in the beginning, and then it progresses in the middle, and then it's this high-pitched voice, which kind of reminded me of screaming. But basically, the Sydney song, and I called it the song for Sydney, and I apologized to Sydney before the first hook. It's something only I would hear, and now I've told you that you would listen for leaving her mother. So in a lot of ways, the Sydney song was a release, is what I used to be able to walk away from that marriage. What would you have to do to it today? You just gonna study them? Okay. All right, study what we gonna do, I guess. Go ahead. Well, I figure maybe you work on the words. How was your lunch?
Fine. The empty pot.
All right. Well, how many did you study?
Study this.
What you mean, just one word?
No, I had to study all of them, and I'm on this one.
Sydney made me change everything in my life. I had to change my life upside down. And now I'm so used to her, the system of it, you know, I couldn't fathom another way of living. Spell higher.
H-I-G-A-H-E-S. ER.
Slowest.
SLOWEST.
Happiest.
HAPPIEST.
Use higher in a sentence.
I am higher than you.
You do better. Use higher in a sentence that shows that you know the meaning of the word. You want me to use higher in a sentence to give you an example? Okay. Our apartment is higher than the people walking on the street. Now you use higher in a sentence that shows that you know what it means.
Higher. The sky is higher than apartments.
Oh, that was
And
a little bit
buildings.
plagiarism on what I was doing, but I'll take it. There's so much coming at her, even at 7, 8 years old. It's so much coming at her that she's trying to process it all and act accordingly. And the way that you act accordingly is to act like the other children. Now, the problem with that is that the other children might not be acting the way that's going to be successful for them in the future. And those things, that's what I try to teach Sydney. And, you know, I try to instill in her the love of reading, the love of knowledge, to learn why certain things are the way they are so that she can understand them other than just, you know, memorizing some fact and purging it. So those, if you know, those are the things I really try to teach her more than anything. And compassion. You know, people don't care about each other anymore. Here in Detroit it's one of the most racist places in the United States, I feel, because the people are so segregated. The city of Livonia, which is one of the most white cities in the United States, and Detroit being one of the most black cities, I think it's like the second or third largest black city in the United States, they're right next to each other. So the problem with that anytime you have a people that don't know about the other people, if you had no contact with black people except for watching them on television, or if you have no contact with white people or Mexican people or whomever besides television, then that breeds racism. And so that's what we have here. And it's not overt racism like you saw in the 60s. It's more of an attitude, I feel. I know what you're about. I know that you don't like me because I know you, because I know every white man on television.
Since day one with Submerge is a growing business. I watched it grow from the basement of our family home until the place where it is now. And it was all because Mike and several others, you know, they believed in the music most of all, but then they believed in themselves, and they really have worked hard to make things what they are today.
Submerge is a good example of how people of different nationalities, different backgrounds, different ages, different philosophies, different religions can get together and do something positive. Yeah, definitely.
I think that speaks to, you know, whatever a group of people set aside they discrimination and their personal thing. They set that aside. I believe they could do whatever they desire to do.
Huh? No, I understand that, but we wanted print with that label. So, you know, it would have to be something, you know, but we can't remedy that without further expense to us. You see what I'm saying? All right, that's cool. I can live without Bush. I can live without Aunt Jemima. But you know, you don't care about the Minister Louis Farrakhan. I think he's funny. Okay, well we lost Bush. We lost Aunt Jemima.
Mainly because Bush is current. Oh, you should ask her.
Aunt Jemima, the president cannot be on any artwork.
Any president?
Any president.
Damn, I was gonna say, man, you could have put like
George Washington, because it's trademarked.
Yeah.
So we need a generic all black woman. Submerge was established in '91 by Michael Banks and Krista Robinson. So Mike had the idea to unite all the pressing activities of Detroit in one unit. He called it Submerge because it's underground music. And so then they started managing, paying the pressing plant, shipping the records to the distributors, and it evolved from that. That's when I got involved. Me and Michael has always been friends since the early 90s. And so we kept in contact, and there was a situation where we could come together on some business. And that's when I got involved with reorganizing Submerge, you know, putting my twist to it. So
we restored this building from what you might consider a dilapidated state. It was a rough road, you know. Just everybody just is really happy with the work we did. And they surprised to see that some guys like us was able to pull a thing like this off. As a matter of fact, they made jokes about us, and what they do now is they call us together as a group, the Ghetto Engineers. Yeah, we the Ghetto Engineers.
It's something, we don't even sell this on the website anymore. I got that. You know what, the direct issue, we don't even make it. That's right.
What's up, guys? How much are those 7 inches cost? Hey, Frankie. Hey, I need these 2 records, man.
Looks good.
Okay.
It looks good. It looks really good.
It's just fresh, new out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's just tight.
Yeah, it looks good.
I didn't see the.
Remember, you were like, I want to hear it. You were like, what is Perv Tech?
Oh,
What's
Perv
that about?
Hey, Frankie. Yeah. I need this record, man. This
You need what?
the record with the stealth bomber on it.
Stealth bomber on it.
Spirit here, Submerge, is real good. It's basically, we're all family, even though we all come from, we kind of all got brought together between Mike and Krista, and everybody else is, from around the Detroit area, but we're all like a family who works here. Everybody's working here for the love to work here, you know what I mean? And the spirit's all good. We all help each other out, and it's a good place to work, man. It's a good environment, community,
See, in the old days, back at the old location,
Yeah.
we were right on top of each other, so they were listening to it or mixing it right up under the administrative part. So I'm hearing it as it's being done or tested or, here with the downstairs, I don't hear it.
Yeah, I thought it was the stealth bomber. Here you go.
Aquanauts.
You guys all like music? Yeah. Okay. Well, there's been a lot of music, popular music, that has come from Detroit over the years. I bet all of you know about Motown, right? No. No? Well, some of you do? Okay. Well, it was before you were born. But this is another kind of music that originated in Detroit. And it originated just in the last 20 to 25 years or so.
Motown Records was the biggest, most successful for its time, and I don't know, maybe the most successful ever black-run, operated record company. They broke #1 hit after #1 hit. I mean, they the greatest thing ever for soul music, by Motown being founded in Detroit by Detroiters, and the catalyst being in Detroit with Detroit talent, that the system of it would have remained. But the fact that is business decisions and things that have happened that has uprooted that industry out of here. And that's gone. It's gone when they left. It left with them when the industry changed.
You guys say techno? Techno! Okay.
How many of you guys are familiar with the techno sound? Raise your hand.
Everybody be careful.
The Detroit Historical Museum was brought an idea for a Detroit techno exhibit, historical exhibit. And so it's good for school children to see that it's all these guys that went to the same schools they went to, grew up on the same streets, that are traveling the world and that are doing all these wonderful things and making this music from nothing, and have all this business and stuff. And I think it's exciting for a child to see. If I had been a kid that saw the techno exhibit, I might have got into it much differently.
If you look at the scene over here, you can see how many people from all over the world come out to enjoy the Techno Fest that's held at Hart Plaza every year. And like I said, it's going to be held this weekend. You'll have a lot of different entertainers, a lot of different opportunities to hear the creators of the techno sound.
I can submerge to Motown in the sense that a guy on the boulevard can walk down the street, ring our doorbell, and have an opportunity, and get a shot to do anything, to get a record deal, or get his label signed, or get distribution, or sign a booking agreement and get flown all over the world as a DJ. These professional services are available to him more so than they were to me. Because when I first started out, it was nowhere I could go. I'm very proud that I'm a part of something that offers so much opportunity to people, definitely. Brandon Calloway, he actually made the best demo tape I've ever heard, ever. And immediately I said, I want to sign him. I got to meet him. And he came to the studio, and he was 18 years old, 18 or 19, something like that. Green, he hadn't been anywhere. He didn't do anything, nothing. He had just got out of high school, and he was just like hanging up at the studio. So, in a way, I adopted Brandon. It's like the little brother, another little brother, and so he had been with me ever since. When he first came through here, so we got Molson. This is how we get down. We from day one. Well, we got Molson. Brandon, what you want to drink? Hey, man, I'll walk with you, I'll give me some milk and cookies. He came back in this bitch with milk and cookies. This motherfucker so much. Milk and cookies.
Milk and cookies.
I couldn't believe it.
Chip Ahoy's.
Damn.
And milk. That real shit.
And then they gonna try to, man, fuck y'all. I'm going back to my wholesale thing. I'm going back with the milk and cookies.
He close to me. He like another. I got 5 brothers, but he like another big brother to me. He showed me a lot about life and music. So.
Good afternoon. You're listening to 90.9 FM, WDTR Detroit. Just a quick announcement. Thunderstorm warning issued for Macomb County, and that is issued until 7:53. This is 90.9 FM, WDTR Detroit. Brand new track from those wonderful people over there at Submerge. The track is called Do It To It.
Do it till you're satisfied?
No, just do it to it. Renaissance.
You know what? Let's quit talking about it.
All right.
Let's just hear.
All right.
45.
Most of the musicians I know, they have a good livelihood. They enjoy what they do. They do the kind of music they like to do. They don't have a big record company over them telling them the kind of music to make or telling them where to go or playing a gig they don't like to play. They doing exactly what they want to do. So they live in their dreams through an avenue that me and my partners have made. So I'm happy with it, yeah. But most musicians have to get a job, a real job, and do music as a hobby.
Bitch that I knew, she had a fat ass, I grabbed it every day. When the bitch tried to shake it in my face, get this cash home, and get the fuck on, drink my 40, and then I
remember when I was little, it was the 80s, it was real wild around here, as far as dope and stuff, so I looked up, I seen a lot of money, I done seen a lot of people get shot and shit. But I didn't want to follow that road. I always had a love for music since I was little. So I always stuck to that. When I became a teenager, I got turntables. Then from there, I started producing, and I stick with music. That's what I like to do. But some people might like to play basketball. Everybody not into the wild shit, but you do got some that's into the wild shit. And they out here doing their thing. I don't fault them for it because I just, like I said before, it's what they saw. And you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, and I don't even know if that's making your own choice at that point. Because if you done seen that all the time and that's all you know, that's what you gonna do. If you around that all the time, have going to school, your mama at home drunk, smoking crack or whatever, you gonna either sell it or do the same thing. So, but it's a lot of people doing a lot of positive stuff out here too. You know what I'm saying? Because I stay out of that. I do my thing, you know. And I like to just stick to the music, man. Life is when you watching breaking news, and on the breaking news you hear heartbreaking news. And every day the breaking news ain't changed. Big man made little man checking his change, then made him checking his brain. They say the streets rock hard, now the ground is stained. But who's to blame? For over in Iraq, a big bomb went off and 6 troops got shot. This war is senseless and it must be stopped. Still asking ourselves why 2 cops got shot. Or why did he do it? Was he mentally influenced? Young, black, and wild, probably gone off the fluid. And on the news, a big house burned down. When they dug through the ashes, 5 kids was found. The cause of space heated because they didn't have heat. Gas prices sky high, got ends to meet. And at my job, I can't even get a day off, but this news lady talking about citywide layoffs. The Pistons in the playoff, stick to the real stuff. Little girl hit by a big Marshall Fields truck. That's life.
Imagine being from a world where drama was a way of life. When the Colosseum is packed, these gladiators
nothing gets through you, okay? You are a wall. You got to give it up, because if you don't, other guys will beat you. Y'all hard or what? Huh? Let me hear you.
I was 16, going to 17, and it was an experience that I carried with me for the rest of my life, because just seeing the things that I saw was traumatic, to say the least, because you know, you would expect that kind of thing would only go on in the movies, but I actually lived through the tanks going up and down the street, the National Guard actually shooting people down in the streets, people actually just burning and pilfering, just going in, the city, it was pandemonium. And the outbreaks that followed that didn't get the national or international exposure like the riot did, but in fact were, if not more serious as the riot was.
I don't think the riot that happened in '67 could happen again, personally, because I really do think that black people, even poor black people, feel generally empowered in the inner hood. They feel that whether by illegal business or by whatever scholarship or by something, by stealing, by some kind of means, they're going to overcome one way or another. Individually, they don't look at it. I don't think it's as much a community spirit as it was during that time, and you definitely have to have a community spirit to riot. So I don't think it would happen again, because I think people have too much of an individual attitude. You know, it would be more of an individual that gets upset and does something crazy than a group of people or the entire community, because I don't think that we identify ourselves as a community anymore inside of our hearts. You know what I forgot to take out was the turkey. See, maybe I'll make one with the longer. That would be a good bit. Checking you out, girl. Shake it, baby. That's why you missed. I'm not gonna hit you. I don't even have a stuffed animal to hit you with. History is a joke. I mean, when you start talking about events, black events, it's black history. It's no such thing. It's, you know, it's like a Sasquatch or something. It just doesn't happen. So no, we didn't learn about the riots in history. I learned more about the riots listening to my parents, grandparents speak about it than I learned in the history books. And yeah, education is important, but more important than education is understanding and being taught to learn. People just take everything that's taught them, thrown at them on television, the media, and they don't want to learn it. So I think the home has to be improved for things to get better. People have to pay more attention to their children.
Detroit, to me, is a city that, you know, I don't think it's a beginning or an end to it. I know it started someplace, maybe it will end someplace, but it's an ongoing, it's a change, and it's steadily evolving, you know, into one thing or another. I see things as being more out in the open as opposed to back in the day when I was, say, maybe 67.
It's going to be slow and gradual for the city to come back. I do believe it will come back. I don't think it's going to come back the same way it was. I think what I'm more interested in than the exterior of Detroit looking the way it looked would be the attitudes of people to change. You know, if that can happen, then you could always paint a house. But if the inside is burnt out, how good is it?
Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on, come on.
Most definitely I could live outside of Detroit. But I couldn't live too far from Detroit because I couldn't live too far from my family. It's a lot of talent here, so it might be bad for business for me to move somewhere else. So, you know, it's a lot of factors that keep me in Detroit, you know, most definitely. This city is where my heart is and where my soul belongs. I wouldn't change it for anything.